Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, we're only doing one of these this week, but we are here with another Hunter x Hunter review and breakdown. And these three episodes that we're going to cover, 116, 117, and 118, were probably the most emotionally charged episodes that we've seen in this entire arc. Now, there was so much that just left me just straight jaw dropped. I couldn't believe what was going on. And I am so excited to talk to you guys about it. So, without further ado, let's just jump in. Episode 116 kicks off where we left off in episode 115, where Gon finally got to Pitou. I was so hyped to jump into this episode because I just wanted to see what was going to happen with Gon. I know about Gon's transformation when him and Pitou finally fight, but I have no idea how their interaction with each other actually goes, especially since Pitou is trying to heal Komugi. Well, Gon's rage is, you can taste it on the air. Pitou and him lock eyes, and he just starts going crazy. Like, he wants to fight Pitou right away. And Gon just starts letting his aura just consume him, it looks like. And we see something that's we've never really seen before, where his aura, which is normally white and oppressive, now has like black mixed into it. And he looks like he's about to lose his shit. He's just raging out. Killua, on the other hand, is trying to understand why Pitou won't use his aura. That we know why, because while he's using Dr. Blythe, he can't use anything else. But even with Gon right there, Gon may be a kid, but with that much rage and his physical strength, he could kill Pitou as Pitou is defenseless. So Killua's trying to figure it out because he's looking at Pitou, and he sees Pitou like a mother cat defending Komugi, and he just doesn't understand what's going on. But then he remembers what his grandfather said to him, that it was going to be his call once he got in. His grandfather had seen the situation, but had chosen to leave. Gon is getting more angry because while he sees Pitou working on Komugi, he's starting to get images in his own mind of Kite, and what Pitou did to Kite before turning Kite into a puppet. Pitou ends up begging Gon to just let him save Komugi. Hands face up, head down, and no kind of aggression whatsoever. He ends up begging Gon. And as Gon's seeing that Pitou's trying to save this person because Komugi matters so much to the king, Gon gets more angry. He doesn't think it's fair. He doesn't understand how Pitou could want to save somebody. And it's just like, our boy is gone. Like, he is just raging out. And even Killua tries to talk him down, and he gives Killua the craziest attitude. Like, this is the first time we've ever seen him actually show aggression toward Killua, where he basically explains how it's not fair, how they should be fighting right now. Like, he shouldn't care about this girl. We've also never seen Gon basically throw away another's life like that. He doesn't believe that Pitou's actually trying to save somebody, and he doesn't think they should give Pitou the time. He thinks it's all fake. He has no reason to believe Pitou. Well, Pitou ends up explaining the whole situation of what happened. That's what Gon wants to know. He wants to know why Pitou wants to save this person. And upon hearing it, Gon ends up freaking out even more, and he just ends up screaming out at the top of his lungs, letting out so much aura. And he just says, screw this. And he charges up a Jajanken with black and red aura coming off of his body and mixing into his Jajanken. I've never seen anybody's aura be this hateful. Like, it was crazy. But again, Killua manages to calm him down. Sort of. Killua reminds him that they need Pitou to save Kite. If he kills Pitou, then there's no saving Kite. He managed to drop his attack, and he says the absolute coldest thing to Killua. He tells him it must be nice. You can stay in control. You can stay in control because it's not your fight. And the look on Killua's face just looks so defeated. Gon comes back to himself, and he even says, I've calmed down. Except you can see on his face, our boy's gone. He's dead inside. He walks up to Pitou and says, how long? Pitou says, 3 to 4 hours to heal all her wounds. He's like, that's too long. And she's like, I just then give me an hour to heal her critical injuries. Gon sits down, eyes locked, and says, 1 hour. I'm going to sit here for 1 hour, and that's all you get. I'm sorry that I blew through this episode, but it was just... I can't accurately articulate the amount of emotion going on in this episode. Gon's rage, Killua's desperation, Pitou's desperation. Like, the big thing for me was seeing Gon not just rage out like that, but see him basically abandon an innocent life. That is not something Gon has ever done. He has always been about the casualties. But he didn't even take the possibility of Pitou actually trying to save somebody seriously. But the episode ends right there with Gon sitting down. Episode 117 actually picks up a few minutes before that, where Gon ends up screaming. It turns out that his scream was so loud that Melioron was able to find them, and it actually opens up with him patting Killua on the shoulder. After making sure Gon's good, Killua ends up leaving with Melioron to try and help everybody else. We shoot over to Zeno. Zeno's walking away from the castle, and it turns out that Pitou went after him. First off, I already knew that was a mistake. Chito's an idiot. But Pitou explains that he doesn't even want to fight Zeno. He wants to fight Moral, but Moral's got, in his smoky jail, and no matter what Pitou did, he couldn't get in. So Pitou saw Zeno walking away, so he went after Zeno. And Zeno doesn't want to fight. Zeno's just like, I'm tired, I'm not in a mood, I'm all set with this. But it turns out Zeno actually tried to talk to Pitou and explain to him why he was upset. That for the first time since he started the family business, he might have caused somebody else's death that he wasn't hired for. And that's actually bothering him. But Pitou, all Pitou cares is himself and turning out his new ability, so he is not even hearing Zeno. But he goes to attack Zeno and then just explodes. Zeno even tries to warn him. Zeno's like, you should watch out behind you. And Chitou's like, I'm not going to fall for it. And then he just explodes. And we see that Silva came from the sky and just crushed Pitou. Like, his arms and legs are in the air because of how hard he got hit to the ground. And I just started cracking up because Silva's a dog. Now, we see Melioron and Killua, they got away. They're talking. Melioron catches his breath and he fills Killua in on the situation and what's going on. We shoot over to Knuckle. It actually says 3 minutes before Killua was talking to Melioron, and we see Knuckle running away from Youpi. He actually jumps out of the tower, and Youpi sees him but doesn't follow. And Knuckle can't understand why. This is where Knuckle messes up, because Youpi is prioritizing the king. We actually get a long explanation from the narrator about Youpi's mental state. While stopping Youpi is Shu and Knuckles' priority, that is their mission, fighting them is not Youpi's mission. Youpi's mission is keeping the intruders away from the king. So, rather than worry about chasing after Knuckle, he goes looking for the king. And Knuckle can't understand this. In reality, Knuckle should have just stayed within range for APR to keep counting up, but should not have engaged him anymore. So he goes after Shu. He finds Shu on the ground, crawling toward the doorway that Youpi must have walked through. And he is actually getting mad because he's just like, Youpi would have had to walk past Shu, would have seen Shu, and just left him there. He doesn't even care that Shu's laying there bleeding to death. And as he picks up Shu and goes to walk away, it clicks in his head, especially since Shu starts saying, damn it. Shu is upset that Youpi looked at him like trash. That he did that, even though he's beaten and bloody on the ground, but he still put up a fight against Youpi, and now Youpi looks at him like he doesn't matter. Youpi really is too stupid to think complexly. That's just not his thing. He's just worried about his duty to the king. But Shu and Knuckle both took it as a massive insult that Youpi just didn't give a shit about them. So Knuckle decides he's going to punch Youpi in the face. Again, he let his pride get the best of him, but I guess that's just his character trait. But even Shu wants him to punch Youpi in the face for him since he can't do it. We see Youpi trying to get into the smoky jail. He's yelling, he's screaming, he's trying to figure out who's in the smoky jail. He actually ends up attacking it and can't do anything to it. We see the inside, and Moro, while he can hear Youpi through the smoke, he's only focused on Shadowproof inside his, his cocoon. But Shadowproof is reading into Moral, and though Moral is getting suspicious about what's going on, his conviction to keep an eye on Shadowproof is keeping him steady. We also got I kind of jumped ahead. We got a little bit of backstory that didn't really matter too much, but it was about Knuckle and always getting out of a bad situation. I guess he punched a cop and was able to get away, and now he's using that. He was using that to get away from Yuppie. Sorry that I kind of blew by that. I just didn't. It was one of those backstories that just wasn't that super important to me. But Knuckle ends up going back after Yuppie, and Yuppie's actually getting pissed off that these guys won't just, for lack of a better term, fuck off. And Knuckle ends up going after him, and as soon as Knuckle starts to go after him, Yuppie starts to transform. Knuckle sees him and runs the other way. He's just like, I gotta get out of Dodge. His upper body gets so big and so contorted, and he just starts smashing the ground. And when the smoke starts to clear, he's getting even bigger and bubbling up into this giant, ugly thing. I don't even know how to describe it. And he ends up exploding as Knuckle runs with Shoot. He grabs Shoot on the way and just keeps on booking it. So we find out that this explosion is actually Yuppie's real ability, that his rage can combine with his Nen and basically bring him to critical mass and blow himself away. The episode ends with Knuckle and Yuppie basically analyzing his ability. Knuckle realizes that if he can get Yuppie to explode like that again, it'll shorten the time that he has before he goes bankrupt, and it seals his Nen. Whereas Yuppie realizes that while this power is very self-fulfilling, because he boils up with all that rage and then releases it like one big go, and he gets an intense sense of pleasure from it, he needs to figure out the best way to use it for the king. And then we find out from the narrator that all of this stuff that's happened, Shoot fighting Yuppie, going fighting Pitou, Pitou's jump to the king, Netero and Zeno finding the king and leaving, all of this stuff happened within 3 minutes since they invaded the castle. 3 minutes and all this shit's gone down. This feels like a Dragon Ball episode. Any of my Dragon Ball fans, you guys know what I mean. But so much shit's going down, and that's when 117 ends. Again, sorry for blowing through it, but it was a lot of action and a lot of stuff to take in. It was just so much shit was going down. And again, I can't super articulate the way I felt. Like, I felt for Shoot because his pride was so damaged. But God, all they had to do was hide, and eventually Knuckles' ability would take out Yuppie. It would take a while, but it would work. Because Yuppie didn't care about that. All he cared about was finding the king, but he didn't even know the king was gone. He couldn't find Pitou because Pitou's end was gone, and Pitou was only focused on healing Kamugi, and he couldn't get the Shadow Proof. Either way, 118, which is the last episode we're going to cover, takes off right from there, right after the explosion. Knuckles talking about going after Yuppie and trying to get him to explode again, trying to make him mad. Yuppie, on the other hand, is having a big brain moment, and he's talking about tricking Knuckle into thinking he's angry and thinking he's raging, just to lure him in and then take him out. So he starts punching the ground and starts screaming for Knuckle to come out. It's actually pretty clever. We go over to Moral and Showerproof again, and it turns out that Showerproof has the ability to break down his body into little bugs, so small that they're basically almost can't be seen, and they're so small that they can actually make it through his smoky jail. And he's reforming on the outside of the smoky jail, and Moral has no idea. We finally get to see what's going on with Ricardo. I know his mission isn't as big as what's going on with everybody else, but we still gotta know. He is using the satellite dragonflies to see into the warehouse where Palm's supposed to be, and he's also using it to watch the elevator. So as he's driving, he sees Blaster show up. He makes it to the warehouse where all the girls are, and he starts questioning all the girls. And they all tell him the same thing. Bizef said he wasn't supposed to talk to anybody else, and they're surprised that a messenger has been sent there by Bizef. So they basically just kind of shoo him off. He ends up using Gyo and sees Ned writing from Palm. She says that she was going to the castle, and if they haven't heard from her by the time of the invasion, or what they call it, extermination, that she's probably already dead. Ikago's upset about it. The narrator describes it as he feels like he lost a part of himself, but he ends up driving back. He ends up running into Blaster as he gets to the elevator, and Blaster immediately questions him, and he's like, "Did you get your mission done from Hagia?" And he can't figure out where he messed up, because he doesn't know about Hagia's new name. And immediately Blaster just lights him up and shoots him his new body to pieces. So his flutter body is destroyed, useless. Blaster tries to go into the elevator, but Blaster doesn't know about the elevator codes. so Blaster can't get up. Ikago's actually stuck to the bottom of the truck that he was in, and he starts to sneak out to try and figure out how he's going to deal with Blaster. But we don't actually see what's going to happen with them yet. We actually go back over to Knuckle, and Knuckle's still looking down at Youpi. Youpi's still raging out, trying to get him to come out, and he actually goes after him because he thinks, he can get him to rage, and his body starts to morph again. He starts morphing into this ugly ass, similar to what he looked like, except he's not glowing gold. That would have been my first red flag. Now, as Knuckles running at him, Knuckle runs and jumps at him and goes to hit him. And Knuckle starts running through a bunch of thoughts. He starts thinking about Shu, he starts thinking about Moral, he starts thinking about the whole mission, and he's like surprised at himself. He's like, this is the fastest I've ever thought. And then it clicks in his head that this is supposed to be that moment, where somebody said, wait, right before you die, everything feels like it slows down. And as soon as he gets within range of Youpi's body condenses itself back into his normal form, and then he swings at Knuckle and makes his arm huge. And even Knuckles is like, if this hits me, I'm dead. And he thinks he's gonna die. And then our fucking boy Killua comes out of nowhere and hits Youpi with a giant lightning bolt. Turns out that him and Meleoron snuck in, and Youpi had no idea where the attack came from. All he knows is that he gets electrocuted. And as soon as he gets electrocuted, he can't move right away, and Knuckle beats the ever-living shit out of him. Left, right, drop kick. And then he just bolts. He even said, he's like, I hate that bastard 8 times. Killua saved his life. And as he runs, obviously now he's made APR tick up even higher. He runs away. He's fucking celebrating, and we just see Killua at the top of this crater looking down at Youpi with that face. That Killua face, like he's just gonna murder somebody. Now as he's walking down, he puts his hands up. He's like, I'm in a really bad mood, and I'm gonna take it out on you. And you just see his arms, his hands flex with electricity. And that's where the episode 118 ends. I know what comes in the next episode. That little bit has been spoiled for me. But I am so ready for Godspeed. So ready. These episodes were super fast, so fun. And I'm so glad that we finally got to the action of the arc, of this part of the arc. I know it was a lot of build up, but like seeing going with Pitou, it's just that shit hit different. Knuckle and Shoot's reactions to Youpi. I want to choke them for being dumb, but I get it. They're warriors. They have been through a shitload of things together. Like, they couldn't be disrespected that way. But the end with Killua about to fight Youpi one-on-one, I can't wait to see it. Anyway, that's enough for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review and breakdown. Again, I feel like I went through it really fast, but there was a lot going on. It was so much and so good. But I will catch you guys on the next one, where Killua goes into Godspeed, and who knows what else happens in the next couple of episodes. So I'll see you guys then.